My beloved CNC, it threw a new error message. Actually, it's not a message. These are the function keys. As you can see, we got a set here from 1 to 10. We also have a set of keys up here, and they are not working. This is the center of the cornfield, somewhere in the Rust Belt, just south of Chicago, north of Indianapolis. And it's October. The weather is changing. It's getting colder in the shrine, and because of that, you know, things are expanding and contracting. This time they are contracting, and the electronics don't like that. When I was doing the last job on the mill, these function buttons did not work, and what I ended up doing is I found this keyboard. She's got some patina on it, and it's an old school clicky type. Some people on eBay can kill for something like this. You know, they would take each button out and clean them one by one. I think it was in a steel mill or something similar. I bet you this one was made in the United States. Now it says made in Thailand. NMB Technologies High-Tech Keyboard Division, Chatsworth, California. Made in Thailand. Look at that. It's got a switch here. It says AT or PC. That is something I haven't seen for at least 30 years. Well, anyways, the keyboard saved the day. You can see it is hooked up with this DIN 5 connector. Kind of worked, but obviously I want to get the CNC fixed. So when I turn on, all these buttons are working. These buttons are working, but the function keys here and these keys here, they are not working. So I've already taken off the back cover, kind of to snoop around, and as you can see, this is the ribbon cable from the function keys, you know, from F1 to F10, and then this is the ribbon cable from the main keyboard. And then these keys here, these ones, you can see it's this guy here. Okay, so these are working, but these are not working. And well, it's NLM. You can see there's a cable here, 4 wires. It goes in there, and there's another cable with 4 wires. They could have used one cable with 8 wires, but they used 2 cables with 4 wires each. I double checked this fuse here, and it was working. So as you can see, these cables have some dirt on them. So the first thing I'm going to do is mark it, take some pictures, unplug them, and then see if there's any oxidation on the surfaces. One of my buddies looked at it, and he said that he used these in the industry, and they are prone for oxidation. Just take this cable out of the way. Don't forget to connect it back. I'm just gonna go and mark some of the corners here. So that connector goes right there, and then the top of this one goes right here. and then this side goes right up there. You know, just some basic stuff. Do some marking so that all the stuff goes back in the same place. You know, once I unplug it, God knows how they were originally. Even if you take pictures, sometimes it's fairly hard. And there's a good manual available for the machine itself, for like the high voltage connectors, the servos and such, but nothing about the microelectronics here. And you can tell the age of the machine just by looking at this whole mounted components. At least that's something I grew up with. You know, I was able to fix those when I was a kid. Actually, on this board you can see numerous hole mounted components, but nothing seems to burnt up. So what I'm gonna do is unplug these carefully. Let there be light. So this connector is holding the ribbon cable. It's pressed into this expansion assembly, and then that plugs in right there. Kind of. I think these guys at Anylam had a lot of Legos, a lot of extra components they wanted to build in and charge people for that. Dynagraphics tested 412K. So here are two more of these cables, and they kind of stacked like so, but you can see how it's done. And then these cables are crimped into these connectors. So my buddy said just wiggling them around helps a lot. Also, this connector here, this crimped connection, that can also be faulty. He said just pull this cable out and then use an eraser to kind of rub against the cable and clean it up that way. I don't think this part comes apart. I don't think the connector comes off of the cable. Although it's, look at that, it's loosey-goosey. See that? The cable, I can wiggle the cable inside the connector. Maybe that's all it needs, just have a little bit better connection there. Let's see this one. See that? Look at that. The ribbon cable is moving inside the cable assembly. And obviously all these have probably a neutral, and then you have 5 wires. I don't think there is electronics on the other side of the cable assembly. I'm just gonna go and dust it off. And then this is isopropyl alcohol. So just use some of that alcohol on these cables. Just clean the cables a little bit. Clean up the dust from the cables. I don't know, I really don't know at this point what should I do. What I'm gonna do is just clean it up a little bit and then turn it back on and see if the keys are working. This isopropyl alcohol is indispensable in the workshop. I use it all the time. I mean, look at that. You can see the amount of dirt that was on the cable. It probably never been cleaned. I don't know how these cables work, how thick that insulation on the wire is, and how does it affect the signal quality. I mean, this is completely enclosed. This entire back section is enclosed, and yet you can see how much dirt there was. So this is the connector assembly, NLM 2000, copyright, and 9010036, and this probably fetches $500 on eBay if you got this burnt up. I'm just gonna go and dust it off. I'm telling this to you, buddy, contemplating buying that CNC, because someone wants to toss it and they would give it to you for a couple grand. This is what awaits you. Most of these machines are ran until failure, and when it's not worth to bring out the service guy because they keep breaking down, they just gonna cart it out in front of the business, and sure enough, you can get it for, you know, a couple $1,000. But if you don't have someone to fix it, you might as well just use it as a boat anchor. I like fixing stuff, and I'll probably always maintain this as far as I need it, but I won't be able to afford a service guy to come out here and do the service for me. You know, that would cost a lot of money, and as these machines are getting older and older, it's hard to find those guys who still know how these machines work and how to troubleshoot them. Well, let's put this cable back and turn it on and see if the buttons are working at this point. Well, the screen came on, so that's always a good sign. It says floppy was not found. So the first test is, you know, F10. As you can see, it worked. So we're gonna go and select control software. We're gonna go and engage the servos, turn on the servos, and now it will need a homing. It says servo delay, please wait. And now it's doing the homing. So now we're gonna go and try to see if this keyboard works. So M, you can see the keyboard does work. So let's do an M3 S500 and then hit the start, and then the spindle is spinning. So I don't know, it works now. I wiggled the wires around and it seemed to be working. You can see that the keyboard is not connected. I am using the actual keys, and it actually works fine with the keyboard. The problem is that you can see when you're operating the menus, it says insert, so you got to press F8, and then you're looking down there to the keyboard and you're trying to find F8. So as far as the CNCs goes, it's a lot easier if you know, you got the menu option right there and you pressing the button right underneath. That's why till this day, you know, all the CNCs have a set of keyboards like this. So I'm gonna go and put the cover back on and basically just wait and see how it works. But all it took is just a little bit of wiggling the wires there. I didn't do any cleaning. Not sure. I didn't take off this back cover, so maybe there's some dirt underneath the, you know, the PCB board, behind the PCB board. I don't know what is it. There's an LED that shows it's on. So as far as I'm concerned, it's fixed. So looking forward for the next failure mode. Until then, see you guys. Take care. And if you like the video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you like the channel, please subscribe. See you next time. Bye.